Hey folks, BlackCross here. Welcome back to another Just a Thought video where we talk about gaming news, situations, stuff that happened across my mind, so on and so forth. Today's video we're going to be talking about Sony. Now, here's the thing about Sony. Sony has had a track record of certain things, some weird moments and stuff that they have done last year, and this year apparently is going to be a repeat per se. And I think there's a fair assessment as to what's going on. At the same time, I feel like this might have been a bad move in regards to Sony's end. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So the biggest news is that Sony has confirmed that they are skipping E3 this year.
Again.
Yeah, this is the second E3 that Sony will not be present at E3. Now, as far as we know, that is the only company that is stating that. As far as we know, Microsoft and Nintendo will be present at E3 still, but Sony will not be again this year. And this is both a good move and a bad move in Sony's end. Now, let me explain whenever I say the phrase this is both a good and a bad. Let's talk about the good end of things. We all know that technically speaking that both Sony and Microsoft will be releasing their new console this holiday season. Obviously within the month of November, in time for Black Friday, and so on and so forth. But chances are they're probably holding back on going on E3 so that they would not be lined up when it comes to the other competition of the Xbox X Series system. Microsoft, please change the name. I'm begging you. Just call it Scarlet, okay? I'm begging you, change it. That's the stupidest name you've ever had! Next to the Xbox One, of course. But with that being said, Sony, being that of releasing their new system, the PlayStation 5, they obviously believe that if they were also at E3, that hype for both consoles will equally be there, and Sony wants to try to grab as much attention on their own end. And if that means that they have to push it out there through the PlayStation State of Play Directs, then that's what they want to do, obviously. And so far, I believe in their mind, they think that so far the State of Play has been like the best way to go about it and stuff. And they've slowly gotten better, and by slowly I mean snail's pace they've been doing it. Now, record as compared to Nintendo, it seems like every month we do get a Nintendo Direct of some form. And in a weird way, it's not a Nintendo Direct, but rather like Pokemon Direct, or Luigi's Mansion's Direct, Mario Direct, Zelda Direct, so on and so forth. It's not been a Nintendo Direct, being that of any Nintendo property. It's just been a Pacific Field, where it's like less than 30 minutes, but then they do a lot of padding when it comes down to it. But obviously, with Sony's case, they're doing their Direct a little bit differently, being that of they take up like at least 15 to like 30 minutes of people's time doing a live stream event showing off basically an advertisement reel of all the games that are coming up thus far when it comes to the Sony PlayStation, or in this case the PlayStation 4. And you know, this isn't a bad thing. They've gotten better by what they show off and stuff like that. They, however, though, aren't doing a very well job of what they technically should be doing, per se. And to do a reveal like the system reveal, I feel like they should have done it at E3, but that's when we talk about the bad move part about it. In terms of good move, they wanted to have it slowly be concentrated into one area, and then that way they're not tied up with Microsoft's end of things. And I think that's probably a good end to look at it, you know, for people who want to specifically know what Sony's doing with their new system. They don't want it to be tied up with Microsoft, because then people will think that, oh, well, Sony's trying to compete with Microsoft, so they're copying what they're doing, or they're trying to one up on them, or so to speak. And so this way, they do their own press conference, they do their own plan thing and stuff like that. And that's when we will get more details, more eyes will be focused on that instead. Whereas if they did show it right next to Microsoft, they would be a little bit tied for attention. But here's why I say that's a bad thing. The reason why I say that's a bad thing is because Sony has not done a very good job when it comes to talking about the next console. Now, we know about the specs, and we know about like the possible load time and rendering that we're going to be witnessing for the system, and we know about the potential date that it's going to be. We don't know, however, about the nitty-gritty stuff. For example, what the console looks like. The Xbox X Series, we can argue with, we actually know what it looks like. It looks like an Alienware PC, but we know what it looks like, you know, because they showed it off at the awards ceremony, which, surprise, Sony didn't make that move themselves. If we don't get a direct within the next month showing the system, we might be in for something. If it showed it at E3, then a lot more people who want to know what's going on with the PlayStation 5 will know more about it at E3, because that is like the biggest thing that people want to know. Next to the Xbox X Series lineup of games that they're getting, we want to know the PlayStation 5. But that might have been why they're holding back on putting it at E3, because then they can have their own separate direct talking about the details of the system reveal, followed by the games that are coming out. Basically, this one direct that they're going to reveal sometime either before or after E3, this will be shown specifically for the PlayStation 5, which means it will be a PlayStation 5 direct, per se. But, in all honesty, the fact that Sony is skipping E3 again this year, it just seems bizarre. I don't know. Did they see a boost when it comes to, like, I don't know, improvements for the company of Sony when not doing an E3? And they decided, let's do it again because we have another system that's coming out and stuff like that? I don't know. It seems odd that they would make this decision. And in all honesty, I don't know if I should praise them for making this move, because then, like I said, they get their own set of eyes on the system, or is it because of the fact that I feel like as though as if I'm being robbed, because this system is an E3 event to look for, you know what I mean? It's not like, oh, this game is super hyped and stuff like that. No, this is an entirely new console where we're fixing to enter in the new age of console generation. And according to a lot of people, statements, this could potentially be the last console generation we will be receiving. I personally doubt that, but that's what people are thinking, and quote unquote, that's what people are hoping that is the case, because they want to be proven right, but they're going to be proven wrong regardless. Ultimately, we don't know what Sony's really up to. We still don't even know what the system remotely looks like, and before anyone actually says it, that is technically a tech kit, which means that may not be the official release of the system per se. If nothing else, that's just what the prototype looks like. But I will make a counter argument where I say that technically this looks a little too defined for it being a dev kit prototype. You know what I mean? It doesn't look like it should be a dev kit. A dev kit would be something like a simple box or something in order to do the tests and stuff like that. This is an odd shape for it being a dev kit. So I will make that argument where I say that it is a little bit of an odd shape for a dev kit. But again, we don't even know what the actual console looks like. And we won't know until Sony decides to release that PlayStation 5 Direct for the State of Play series and stuff like that. So be sure to be on the lookout for when that finally does happen, as we will finally get to see what the system looks like, as well as to hear more details. I personally am hoping that the rumor is true and that it will be backwards compatible to all previous PlayStation games, because that would be an instant buy for me. I have told everybody else, and I mentioned this on the channel as well, if Sony went on ahead and made it backwards compatible for all PlayStation titles, then I will buy that on year one. And I say year one because, let's put it this way, the first official month is going to be the hardest one to grab a console, much less order one, because it's always going to be back ordered or stuff like that, because people are getting it in time for the holidays. But I will try to get that on year one at the very least. So at any rate though, guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think about all this? What are your thoughts? I'd like to know, so I'll see you in the next video. This is BlackCross signing off. Catch you guys later.